not seeing my self-worth, and like, my mom's always like telling me I'm pretty, and like, if you want braces, cool. If you don't want braces, cool. Well, like, how am I gonna be loved if, I don't see myself as pretty, people don't see me as pretty, that isn't in the picture per se. So, all that is like going through my mind. You making that decision to like, be a better person and to change, like, that made me a better person.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning into This Is Real with yours truly, Pastor Juan Martinez, aka Dr. Love.
And I'm Stephanie Martinez. Rabe, welcome back to another show, you guys.
And
we're so glad
this is
here.
Exciting because, every time we have shows, we have all different kinds of people. And today we have a special guest in the studio.
Yep.
And, I love the fact that we usually have like very seasoned Christians or in the middle, and sometimes we new Christians, because I love the process of things, and sometimes I believe we don't hear from them enough to really know, what's going on. So today, you want to introduce?
What kind of who would you describe our guest as? We have a young lady here in the studio who's trailblazing her relationship with the Lord. Overcome a few obstacles. Refound.
Totally. I would say
new relationships and family. Right.
I would say her dad must have been brilliant.
Oh,
handsome.
Okay, all right.
Look, let me introduce her. She would be beautiful, smart, obviously my little princess, who now is an adult. My daughter, Nina.
Hey.
Welcome, Nina.
I like your shirt.
Thanks.
Be kind. Yeah. Always.
All right, so for those who don't know, this is Nina Martinez. Nina, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are, how old are you, what do you like to do, all that kind of stuff.
Well, my name is Nina. I am 27 years old.
Yep.
I work at, I guess like you could say I work at the office.
Okay.
I really enjoy like face stuff and like popping pimples and all.
Yeah. If you heard any of Pastor Juan's traveling messages, he does the intro of like,
well, here she is.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yep.
Yeah, and so how would you consider your life now, like today? Like, how's your life?
Oh man, I might start crying. My life is truly amazing. Like, I don't think I've ever been this happy, this determined, this focused, this excited about my future and
That's cool.
like everything that's coming with it.
So really good. So you believe in the being kind. You always have a big smile, they always say.
Yeah.
And you're very happy about your life. Okay, that's dope. Now we want to know what it was like for you growing up. Now, I am in this story. It's not how this turns out.
Yeah.
So, and I'm okay with it because I feel like people. So don't hold back.
Yeah.
I need it to be real and raw.
Yeah, because
Right.
some people listening are going to relate to your story, what you've gone through and what you experienced. And maybe not, maybe this is someone's first time listening and they have no clue who, Juan Martinez is. And
See my
yourself,
son in the studio and he's like, I'm not going to hold back. And I'm like, hey, man.
So give us a little bit
Feelings.
of what your life was like before, what your upbringing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So who were you as a little girl?
So I was still this smiley as a little girl, surprisingly.
Yep. Dry too. You're very dry, but go ahead.
Oh yes,
That is,
dry.
you've overcome that, but go ahead.
Not in personality, just in skin.
Just kidding.
Yeah, so I've always been really happy. If you don't know like our testimony or my dad's testimony, he wasn't around or in the picture. It's crazy because when I was thinking about like growing up and everything and really like placing myself there again, my first memory is my mom. I had to be like 3 years old or something. My mom had waken me up from a nap, and you guys were arguing, and basically she just like really quick, hey, you want pizza and do you want your dad to stick around? And that's the first memory I think.
What a sentence, but go ahead.
Yeah. So definitely threw me off guard, and I feel like I've always been pretty protective of my mom. I don't want her to, she's my mom. Like, I don't want her to.
You love your mom.
Yeah, I love my mom.
This is just the testimony. So this is, I believe you honor your mom, you love your mom, you respect your mom. But this is just your story and how you see it from your eyes. Yeah, it's a good thing.
So I told her I wanted you to leave, and sure, I'll
it was
take the
you.
pizza.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah. So that, and then you kind of disappeared. There was a few instances where I remember you coming into the picture, but she was
for
very
the most part, your home life, you know, it was just you and your mom, or
me and my mom. My stepdad came into the picture when I was close to 5. So I did have like a quote unquote father figure raising me. And I mean, I didn't have a bad like childhood. My parents at the time were in the picture. My grandma, she raised me, so I had her to, you know, lean on whenever my mom was working a lot and whenever he was working a lot. So I had, you know, family per se.
Did you have a relationship with Christ then?
No. So my mom took me to church when we lived in Miami for a brief period of time, and I loved it. But when we moved, we didn't go to church again.
Yeah. Okay. So
what then, you know, that's childhood, so you've got somewhat of a family unit going on, and then you know, what does your upbringing now look like? Because everyone faces, you know, going into middle school or going to high school. You know, what does your environment look like, and what kind of starts shaping you as a young woman?
So when I moved, I was in 5th grade, and I got picked on pretty bad.
Oh
wow.
How old are you then?
I had to be
5th grade. Is like
10.
I don't know.
10.
Yeah.
So 10 years old. Yeah. So obviously I'm trying to make friends to new area and stuff, and man, they would tease me so bad because of my teeth. So I had a really bad overbite, you know, gap tooth, and they just loved talking about that. So got picked on a lot, just wanted to make friends. It was really hard for me until I switched schools and got braces. And then, you know, it lightened up. I was very sociable, so I was able to make friends after that. But it was pretty rough with all the bullying and
so
not seeing my self-worth, and like, you know, my mom's always like telling me I'm pretty, and like, you know, if you want braces, cool. If you don't want braces, cool. But you know, nobody really saw me in a way of like beauty or pretty or anything. So
to the world standards.
Right, to the world standards. So that was really rough for me. I'm like, well, you know, like, how am I going to be loved if, you know, I don't see myself as pretty, people don't see me as pretty, that isn't in the picture per se. So, you know, all that is like going through my mind.
Wow.
So you're 10.
Yeah.
What happens now? Boom, you're hitting 13.
Yeah, because then everyone turns into, you know, hits puberty, turns into, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, what happens?
What is that now with that mentality that you have, you know, going into, I guess, your teenage years? You know, how does that affect you there?
So I don't feel like I really hit puberty until later. You know, my friends were really developed, and I just wasn't really, I was very innocent, very, you know, naive, not in the same development as other young ladies. But that was just really rough, I guess, trying to figure out my place in like friends and
because you at this moment, what I'm hearing is you don't fit in at all. In your mind, you're like, I don't fit in because I don't look like the girls that are around me. I don't, you know, I don't feel beautiful. I'm ugly, right? In a sense, to your own perspective, right? Everybody else, your mom's like, you're beautiful, right?
And even my mom, you know, it's funny because all my friends saw my mom as beautiful and not me. So it would always be like, oh, Nina's mom, cool.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I was just, you know,
hey Nina.
Hey.
You're like, hey.
Yeah. So you know, that plays a big part too, because I'm like, dang, like.
So you're 13, you're about to go into high school now. Hey, and these moments, were there ever moments where you just living life, or were there ever moments where you were like, where'd you think, because your dad's not in the picture, did you ever think like, you know, where's my dad? Or like, were you just like focused forward, or did you ever have moments like that?
Yes. So I had a lot of moments where I just, you know, I wanted the family dynamic, like, yes, my stepdad was in the picture, and that was great, but still not my dad.
Yeah, totally
you know?
get it.
Like, all my friends had their parents in the picture, and they were living these great lives, and I wanted that. I wanted, to come home and like have all these growing up memories and stuff, and I didn't have nothing to reflect on.
So it seems like there's a few what you would call kind of like empty spaces, right, in your life, right? You're not getting, validation from, beauty standards. You have an empty space of like a father not being present. Voids, right? And so what would you say in high school years,
what happens
right?
in high school?
What happens? Do you start trying to fill those voids with anything? Sometimes people go to relationships, sex, alcohol, all sorts of different things, depending on also like where your environment is,
Or
because
did
maybe you saw it,
maybe
you saw it in that moment, but maybe you didn't see it, So in that moment now, what would you say was like something that you would turn to?
For sure, relationships. So I started
looking for love.
Started looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah. Okay. So you're looking for guys, because realistically, you're probably looking for somebody to tell you that you're beautiful and that all the things that you feel this void in, right?
Absolutely.
So you're in high school, what, freshman, sophomore?
Freshman. Yeah. So definitely started dating. Behind my mom's back, because she didn't even really want me to be dating like that.
Sure.
So started just all these little tiny relationships, which realistically like weren't doing me any good either. It's not what I wanted, and they weren't giving me what I wanted.
What are some of the examples of relationships that you had? Since you mentioned you weren't raised in church or anything like that, and so then you kind of open your eyes to it a little bit later than you would say your friends, right? And so when you say, because we talk to kids a lot, and you're just like, oh, we're dating, and I'm just like, where y'all going date? Oh, we hold hands in the hallway. That ain't, it's not really dating. But what did relationships look like to you? What were some of the models that you had for relationships? And then do you feel like you kind of like exemplified those, or what did that look like?
I definitely don't think I had any models on relationships.
Like in school or at home.
Because everything on your growing up, like, so are you seeing like a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting, like
behind closed doors?
Totally.
So we were great, but in the most honoring way, like my mom hit a lot, so anything that I heard or arguments and stuff, it was never in front of me, it was always behind closed doors.
So you never really learned how to communicate?
Never learned how to communicate, or I just didn't know what that was. It was German in our household, you're good the next day.
And the thing about parenting and all that, like, there's not really like a step 3, step 4, step 5. You try to do the best that you can according to even what your perspective is in parent. You get what I'm saying?
Because a lot of parents, your mom's not the only one. A lot of parents think that, okay, well, the kids can't know. They don't.
Oh, totally.
And so we're just going to fight behind closed doors, or we're just going to, pretend everything's okay. And more often than not, the child is aware, right? You either hear it or you can kind of sense and tell,
totally.
So in their mind, they're thinking, well, we're doing the right thing because we're not arguing or fighting in front of them,
they think they're doing the right thing, but they're reproducing.
Absolutely.
You're still reproducing,
and so then goes to the question, that you didn't see anything, right? So now you're off and you're dating in high school and doing whatever, and
all the guy got to tell you then is, girl, you look good. That's it. Realistically, think about it. All he has to say, because you have this large void, the guy, all he has to say to you is, wow, you're beautiful.
Yep, and he's got me.
Not no more though. Hey, look, no, but good. So what happens?
So, a big turning point in my life was my sophomore year. My mom transferred schools for me, which all my friends that I knew and anything that I knew was at the school I was.
Yeah.
So this school was supposedly better and, an A school, but realistically, that's when everything started going downhill, because I just was more farther away from home. My mother thought she was doing the best for me, putting me in a better school, but that's not what I wanted. So I guess I acted out on that. So more bad relationships. My school went down. Everything went into chaos.
What do you call chaos?
Well, skipping school. I smoked for the first time.
Smoked marijuana?
Yes, sir.
Mary Jane. Blunted.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So that's started.
So now
happening.
You're smoking. Now you're doing drugs.
Yup, and I started dating somebody older. He was a senior and I was a sophomore.
Older man.
Older man. Yep. So, you know, it just wasn't good because I was definitely innocent. I was trying to look for love, and I mean, I wasn't in the same age bracket, so I was just being catapulted into this environment that I was not used to. Yeah. So that was definitely a big changing point in my life.
Did you feel in that moment that it was chaos, or was everything kind of like normal to you? Like, oh, this is
cool. Hey, this is cool.
Yeah. Because now we look back at it and we're like chaos. But at that point, did you think that, or
you're like, yeah, this is my dude. He's older.
Oh yeah. For the first time, I'm like, oh man, I got an older guy. All of my friends were dating people that were in the same age. Yeah, I got it made. I'm in AP classes dating a senior boy, you know,
come on,
hanging out
I got it made. I'm a teacher. Wow, you're wilding out.
Yeah, and even when my mom grounded me for that whole year, I was grounded. the whole year.
Wow.
And I still acted out.
Yeah, you still acted out. Because the older guy was like, it's going to be fine.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be together.
Until he wasn't around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which also goes, you know, everybody always leaving me. That was another big thing. Because, you know, if I didn't give them what they wanted, per se, you know, okay, well, on to the next one. I just want to be loved, you know? I just want a relationship.
Wow, now you have abandonment issues. You keep thinking that they're leaving you because of you.
Yeah, like rejection started to play a big part in my mind and just who I was becoming, because I'm like, man, well, who do I have to be? What do I have to do for people to want to be in my life?
Wow.
So that becomes like your driving motivation, basically, right? So now it's kind of wild because I think about stuff and I'm like, belief drives behavior. So her belief is, it doesn't matter if it's toxic. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to keep you there. You know, whether it doesn't matter who it is. Every relationship after that is motivated by I'll do whatever I need to do, whether it was destructive, toxic, right?
You're nailing it.
Nailing it. Come on.
And so in high school, you know, it's a big change for everyone, right? And so let's talk, you know, senior year, graduating, all that kind of stuff. What are your plans? What are your plans for life? What are your plans, you know, whether it's career-wise or, you know, personal-wise? Like everyone thinks, 18, you know, maybe I'm leaving the house or whatever. What did that look like for you?
So actually my senior year is when my life like exploded. Yeah.
That was a silent explosion.
Yeah, so my mom and my stepdad ended up separating end of junior going into senior year.
Wow.
And I mean everything just crumbled. Now I didn't have the family dynamic.
So now he leaves too.
He leaves too. Yeah, and I mean, respectively looking at it now, like, you know, he was a grown man. He needed to look out for himself too. With all due respect. Like he needed to figure his life out.
Yeah.
And I mean, my mom, she just checked out. So it was like, you know, I had to like fend for myself at that point. I had to figure it out, and thank God I had my grandma to, you know, she was like my guardian angel, I would say. She helped me through a lot of that. She's actually who got me here to Texas. She helped me get the ticket and pushed me to come out here.
So
why Texas? Because you're in Florida at this time. Your family dynamic is gone. Dad's not in your life. What
did you? Yeah. Because did you? I know, but I'm playing devil.
They don't know.
Yeah. So when do you? Have you talked to your dad yet?
Okay. So I started building a relationship with my dad.
Okay.
2011 was when I met you for the first time. It was in an airport. I was looking at the pictures, and I was actually going to California to go meet some family, and you drove like over an hour to come see me. And that was the first time we met.
Yeah.
Wow. How old were you then?
Oh man, 2011. So I graduated 2013. I was 17. So like, yeah, 15, 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I met my dad.
Wow. After all that time. And then what happens?
So
hold on, because you meet your dad and he's not who you think he was. Am I right?
Let's go to a break. We'll be right back with Nina as she continues the story. Okay. So I meet you at an airport, and then what?
So you meet me at an airport.
What happens after that?
So we start building a relationship.
Yeah.
I remember it wasn't FaceTimed. It was like
Skype or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Skype or something. We used to Skype, and you made me the one promise that you've kept many promises now, but
but back then,
at that point
I was
in
batting
time,
0.
Yeah,
totally.
So at that point in time, it was 2 years before I graduated, and I said, I really don't care about like the past. I just ask that you please like come to my graduation. I just want you to see me do that one accomplishment in life, so you can see I made it, like I did it. And you said you were going to, and you did. You Woo, bam, 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 bam.
Finally.
Yes. So and that was definitely one of like the happiest days of my life, because I had
your mom's
my
there.
mom there. My dad was there.
Yeah.
It was one of the picture, like a picture that I have with both of you guys in it, which is pretty cool as an adult, to have that.
Yeah.
And
I got one of those with my mom and dad.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's kind of fun. Isn't it wild how we just reproduced? Because I was in the same scenario, and you're excited about that picture, and so am I. I'm like, I have that one picture.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And then after that, we just started to build a relationship, like talking on the phone.
Yeah.
Definitely got better. But it's in that mix, obviously, my mom and my stepdad had separated, so the home life was chaotic while I'm building a relationship with you.
Just different.
It's wild.
It's wild.
And you're sending me stuff about like God, and like, because you were in school at the time, I believe, and you would send me all these things like, like listen to what Jesus has to say, like look at all these cool things I'm learning. And I wasn't raised in church, but my grandma, she was a very firm believer. So I always saw her praying before we even drove off the lot. She would pray before she would drive off. So I saw, what prayer could do.
Yeah.
And
that's dope.
Yeah. So when I would get those letters, I'd be like, like, maybe this is good. Like, maybe, maybe he's got something to say. Like, maybe this is, obviously, if he's changing, if, like, something good, it's got to come from something good, something major, So, fast forwarding, how I got to Texas was one day, I've never called you for help or anything, but I remember I like needed help. Like I didn't know what to do anymore. I remember I called you, and at first you didn't pick up, so I was like, like, oh man, like what the heck, like, but then you called me back, and that was the first time that you were like, maybe this crazy moment is God telling you that you need to, maybe it's time for a new chapter in your life. Maybe it's time to start fresh. Like, obviously, we're building a relationship, so come to Texas, come see how it is. Like, you can start fresh. Like, and you were so willing to help me, which was so awesome.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I'm like on this side of it, like it's super dope that obviously. Anything I've ever done, even though I'm not making excuses for it, but it was just my perspective. It's just my belief. Like it's just who I was, right? Yeah. But I remember so many moments like with you and Jonathan and stuff, just like where I wanted to be a dad. I kind of wanted a way out, but somehow I would just stay trapped because I just really didn't know how, and I didn't know anybody that would talk to me about getting out. You know what I mean? Everybody around me was talking to me about how to stay in and how to not get caught, but it just kept me there. It wasn't like I had somebody like, hey, until I got to prison the last time, So I hear you say that, and, I don't know, just the little leap of joy and, the inner,
Yeah. And it's crazy that you say that because, you think that being like checked out or all those things, like it was detrimental in my life, but it also like that was like my life motto, I guess. I didn't want anybody to ever feel like the pain or hurt that I had felt. So that's why I'm always like nice to people, and like you know, like I always try to be friends with like the people that nobody wants to be friends with, because
it's wild how God turns things, all things around for the, you know, those are, it's just wild.
Yeah, so it worked out at the end.
Yeah. So you get to Texas now, right? And what does that look like? Because it's a brand new, fresh start.
Well,
so
I'll just go all the way to like, when do you, because you come, you hear about Jesus, you're in the praying. So when do you get saved? How long you been saved right now? Surrendered saved, like, yo, I'm giving my life.
Surrendered saved a good year and some change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so the first time I felt like God's presence was when I visited in 2014. I came for 2 weeks. And this was when you were in the dance studio.
Yeah.
And
well, this is that the picture where
or no, I'm kidding.
This is when we were all in that picture.
Yeah.
Hugging.
Yep. So I was raised to not show emotion, like, you know, like you're tough, like you cry behind the scenes. You don't let nobody see that you're hurting or nothing. So, you know, where you were calling people to altar, I think, altar call, and I don't know who first started crying or who first walked up, but me, Jay, and Jonathan were all there, and everybody started crying, and I was kind of just standing there like I don't understand, why is everybody crying? I don't get it. You're crying and you're like, I don't know what's happening.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I'm standing there and I'm like looking around. I think we made eye contact, and then all of a sudden, like, man, the Holy Spirit just boof, and I just couldn't stop crying.
I actually remember the moment. I remember the moment, because I think that was a moment, I think, where Jonathan's, I don't know, I had a couple moments with Jonathan, and I guess, you know, you hear that in another episode, but where, like, he would say something to me, I guess, like, he was healing, and, hey, I'm sorry, Dad, you know, and I think that day he kind of said one of those things to me, and it just kind of brought everybody, it was just super cool.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, I wish, you know, I could just rewind to that moment every now and then, because it was just a really good moment.
Yeah, it really was. And we all healed that day, so that was really cool. And then 2015, a year later, I got baptized by you. Yeah, so a year later, I got baptized, and on my own decision, like, you didn't force me or anything. I really knew that was the first decision, obviously, other than surrendering, but that was really the first step to take to start this new life that I was
that was the day.
Yep. So I got baptized, and I did surrender, but I still I was still like bucking.
Well, you weren't renewed mind, like you were still
Yeah, I was still, still, I guess, thinking my own ways. Still, I knew of Jesus and I knew of all these good things, but I just didn't know how to operate in that sense.
Your soul's not saved at that moment. Your mind, will, and emotions, like, you're saved, like, I accepted Jesus, you know, but then you were still operating a little bit of because you still had to learn how to accept love and how to accept.
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't really like built that foundation yet. Like I was still figuring myself out in a new state with new friends and new people. Like, I didn't know nobody. Stephanie was my first friend.
Side joke.
That's so true. That's funny.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a wild adventure since then.
You're like, thanks, Jonathan, for keeping my friend.
Thank you.
Hey, I was still a friend.
I'm saying, but I'm saying now you're like literally forever like friend.
Forever friend, forever sister, forever chef.
Forever chef. He's like, cook for me. And she's like, no. Okay, that's dope.
So I mean, And from accepting Christ to getting baptized, I feel like your life journey is what a lot of new believers experience, right? Because it's a new, you surrender, like you said, you surrender. You're like, okay, Jesus, I accept you into my heart. But then you still have to face the battles of, decisions, new thought processes,
yeah, totally.
The things that you say yes and the things that you say no to, right? And so, now, even though you're in a new environment, you have new friends, everything is different. And so what is your relationship with the Lord look like? How does that, as a new believer, how did you start developing that? Because you said, how did you get there, and what did that look like?
Where you at?
Well, I guess I just like dove in, and I just surrounded myself. Like I stuck to Stephanie for sure a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I started serving on Central back in the day. Whoop whoop. Shout out to the Central team. So I didn't know. I just know that I had to be in that environment, and I needed to be around people that I knew weren't going to lead me in the wrong direction. And I definitely didn't lead myself in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what direction, so they seemed like they had, their head on their shoulders. I was just going to be in that environment.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Realistically, they had Jesus's head on their shoulders. That's what makes them go in the right direction. If not, they'd be just as lost too, So it's like basically his head. But yeah. Okay, so we're going to go to commercial break. We're going to come back. I want to ask, when we come back, we're going to do some of the segments. We're going to have a little fun. And we're going to keep it real. We'll be right back. We're back.
Welcome back, you guys. All right, so we've got
Nina, you're doing great.
Nina Martinez in the studio. Yes. And
is your name Nina?
Oh no, so we're keeping it real. So my name is actually Janina Martinez.
Janina.
Yes,
that is.
Janina.
Where did Janina come from?
Well, I wanted to name her Johnny because that was my. Johnny, we're back. So I wanted to name her Johnny. So her mom found Janina, and that's how that kind of stood.
Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have been like.
No, you were medium. Okay, look. So here we go. We're gonna go to some segments. But before the segment, right now, how important you think is the journey? Because I've watched your journey, and now you're on this journey where you're actually doing a lot of soul work. How important you think the journey of healing as a person is, according to what you're experiencing?
I think it's as important as breathing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Healing and taking the step to heal. I forgot who said this. Maybe it was you or a preaching that I've seen. But you're not in control of, all the pains and everything that's happened to you. But you are in control of your healing. And you are in control of, how you are going to come out of that and how your life is going to be.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's super important to figure out like the root of why you are the way you are. And I mean, I'm in a change group right now, so
that's really good. So we're gonna probably talk about that here in a minute, that exact thing. And I think it's really important that you say that, because I was just telling somebody yesterday, I go, hey, like when people don't even reading the Bible, if you people are real critical, because usually they have a lens that they read through, and that's how they filter, and that's what they see. So they rather than allowing the word to interpret them, they interpret the word according to their filter. And so it's really important to heal, because then you'll reproduce the thing that's unhealed, kind of like catching a cold. And everybody will be like, achoo, achoo, achoo,
Yep.
But okay, do the first segment.
All right, so we're gonna kick it off with Dear Younger Me. So we like to do the Back to the Future, stick you in the DeLorean, take us back to a younger version of yourself. What were you like? What age were you? And if you could give yourself a piece of advice to that younger Nina, what would you tell her?
Okay. Well, I would go back to the age, let's say 18. 18. Because I had just moved over here. I was just starting out my life on my own. And I would just tell myself, like, be confident in you. Like, stop worrying about what people are saying about you or how people look at you. Like, you're in control of how you feel about yourself, and that should be the only thing that matters. What you think and what God thinks about you. And don't focus on anything else.
It's really good. It's really good. Hey, let me put you back in the DeLorean. You know, I might be. I'm like, I like pain. I like pain. I'm like, I must like pain, but
it didn't hurt enough. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. I'll put you back. What would you say to your dad in a moment, maybe, if you had to do it all over again, and you can give the little girl advice, and your dad wants to leave? What would you say to him if you could say something to him?
Well, obviously I would say stay. Like, stay, and you know, like, we can work this out. Like, I don't think what's in the world is going to you know, fill you up as much as staying home with your family and seeing me grow up would be. Like, that's not going to make you happy at the end of the day. But being here with me and getting memories and, like, growing up together, like, that's going to make you happy.
So, thanks. Well, I just think it's always important because even if you have a lot of inmates who are dads and are probably in the middle of that moment of making a decision, they get to hear their little girl say, hey, you know, I need you to stay. I need you to be that man. You know, I think it's important.
You have the obviously the privilege and the honor that your dad is not in the same path that he was before, but there's probably people listening, you know, who have left their children or who were absent in their children's lives and haven't made that decision to return or to be a better father. So what would you say to the dad who maybe hasn't made that decision to be a better father, that, you know, maybe in this pivotal moment that, oh, well, they're already grown, they're 27, they're 24, they're 18, you know, what do they need me now? What would you say to a dad that hasn't made that decision yet?
Because you actually know the dad that did make the decision. Right. So I think from that viewpoint, what would you say to that dad? Because everything's different now, right?
Never too late, and they always need you. It doesn't matter what age. Like, if you would have never came back into my life, like, I definitely wouldn't have healed the way I am healed today. Like, you played a big part. You making that decision to, like, you know, be a better person and to change, like, that made me a better person. And I mean, thank you.
That's
thank
good.
You. That was cool.
We're gonna go to the next one.
I got her.
No, it's still there. It hasn't fallen. The next one is fear factor. All right, so we're super proud and super you know, excited about your journey in developing a personal relationship with Christ. But sometimes there's things that we fear, right? We face something that we're afraid. Maybe it's something that has tormented us in the past, or something that's new and we haven't encountered before. So fear factor, share with us something that you were afraid of or you've been fearful of, and how you've overcome it, or maybe how you're trying to overcome it right now.
Well, I am fearful of the calling God has for me. So I've been marinating on the scripture, like, we are all called, but few are chosen. And I definitely believe that God has chosen me, and there is a bigger purpose for my life, not just for me, but for the people in my life and who I'm going to talk to. And that's scary. That is scary, to know that, you know, I'm finally, like, I would say, getting comfortable in my own skin and you know, like, okay with the woman that I'm becoming, and I'm gonna have to crucify some of those things to, you know, make some more Jesus decisions. That's and
good.
Wow,
that is intense.
all proud parents. That's dope.
Something similar, right? The next one we're gonna kick off is the struggle was real, right? So share with us something that you struggled with, or maybe you're currently struggling with, and how you're overcoming it. Because yes, there's a process, there's a journey, there's renewing, there's healing, like you've mentioned. And so throughout those things, there's different things that we face, right? Sometimes it's a bad habit, sometimes it's a wrong mindset. So share with people who are listening something that you struggle with and how you're overcoming it.
Yeah, and this is a good moment to almost rehash I stopped it before because I knew you would do the struggle was real. And right now, just to help you with this, maybe in your change group class where you're working soul work, what is the thing that you've had to deal with in that change group class, and are you overcoming it, and how? You with me?
Yes. So I am in the process of overcoming my depression and my anger. Before, when I would go through things, it would hit me really hard, and I would just check out and be bedridden, and it would be really hard for me to get out of bed and even think of why I should carry on.
Yeah.
But I started doing a change group, which is really doing some soul work and getting into the nitty-gritty of why I do that and why I, with fight or flight, why I do that. That is... sorry, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. So you're right on target, though, of what I wanted you to say. So, you're dealing with anger. What was the other one?
Depression.
Anger and depression.
Okay.
So those are things that you struggle with.
Yes.
And so now you're overcoming them. You're going through change group and that.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you're doing in the change group? Because I want you to pinpoint some of the things that you're doing while you're
What have
overcoming.
you identified?
What's different that, because before, obviously, you were going, I remember you were hiding out, you were doing certain things. What are some of the things that in your healing God is leading you, because you're obviously following Jesus in some steps? What are the steps that you're following that is helping you heal? You gonna see?
Yeah.
What'd you find out? How did you identify? Like, what'd you find out about your anger?
Some of the whys of what wired you that way.
Why I'm angry. A lot of it is just not dealing with it. Not throwing it under the rug and just, putting on the smile and just caring about my day. But sitting down and really reflecting and really, doing open heart surgery and
nice.
Why does that get me angry, or why is that rubbing me the wrong way when it's really not that big of a deal? It's just
it's really good.
me making it more of a big deal.
Wow. And so what would you say your life now is like overcoming that? Like, because sometimes people just think, boom, it just goes away. And sometimes God delivers, but I feel like he will deliver. He has delivered, and then he will deliver again, right? So that means that we're constantly in a state of being delivered out of something into something that's getting delivered.
Yeah.
That's what that really means, right? And he will constantly keep doing that. So with you, what's your life like now with overcoming some of it? What does it look like?
Well, now I can disciple people, and I have a team. I run a coffee station, so I have purpose, and I can pour into other people.
Nice.
I still have my moments. I still have my days where I'm like, man, this is rough. But now it's like I know what I'm fighting for. So I want to put up a fight. I want to put up a good fight.
In those days that it's more difficult and it's rough now, with all the healing and the growth in your relationship, how do you fight those?
You guys. I'm just really grateful that I have a group of people that I can lean on. I highly suggest you find your people, because if it wasn't for you guys, you guys encourage me when you don't even realize you're encouraging me. So that
the overflow of encouragement.
Yes, my cup is definitely overflowed with you guys.
Oh, that's cool.
I appreciate that. Look, awesome. I know this is the first time we're gonna reverse to a segment. So what right? Right? I'm gonna put you back in the DeLorean.
Oh.
So I want to put you back in the DeLorean, and I know you've had what would you say in difficult times, going back and speaking to your mom? With what you know now, right? So with what you know now, what would you say to your mother?
you are enough. Like, you are enough, and you know, like, don't cloud your mind with the world. Like, God created you exactly the way you are, and you have purpose. You have a daughter, and God gave you this daughter and gave you that assignment to be a mother. Like, you know, that is an assignment by God, whether you birthed me or didn't. Like, being a mother is an assignment, and honor that. Like, walk with strength, walk with dignity, walk in all that God has given you. You know?
Nice. Thank you so much for being super vulnerable, super transparent. I love you. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You are a masterpiece. And so I really appreciate just everything you've just completed my life as well. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for taking a chance, because I think sometimes that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even though we're all in this journey, like, I took a chance as much as you're taking a chance to make sure that, because you could have been like, no, we're not going to build this, you know, but you're taking a chance every day, actually. So shout out to Nina.
What would you say, just really quickly in like 20 seconds, to the girl who felt all those things that you felt?
Yeah.
You know, just give them an encouraging message to, you know, find themselves again.
Even when you fail forward. Every day is one step at a time, and you know, don't focus on what's happening to you. Focus on what's happening inside of you.
Come on, that's really good. Come on, Nina. All right.
Come on, she's listening. She's like, I wanted a papa.
Yeah. We gave her the papa. Good job. Thank you, Nina, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to This Is Real. Be sure to watch us on YouTube at This Is Real with Juan Martinez. And if you're looking for a home church, you can visit us at www.getrap.tv for all of the information. Or you can write us at P.O. Box 671-626, Houston, Texas 77267. And we want to thank all of our partners for making this show possible by showing love and support. And if you'd like to partner with us, you can do that by visiting juanmartinez.tv. And finally, we're going to end the show with the heavy hitter of the week. And this week's heavy hitter, a little Spanish Latin flavor with the song Danzando by Gateway Worship Espanol. Stick around, stay tuned, and as always,
that's a wrap.
Juan Martinez from This Is Real.
And I'm Stephanie Rave, and we're so glad you joined us. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so you get notified every single time we have a new episode.
And don't forget, in Houston, Texas, on 100.7 FM, every single Saturday night, we're on the airwaves from 6:30 to 7:30, man, with real people, real problems, real solutions. The show is rocking.
Amen.
But not only is the show rocking, we're also reaching 53 cities, 51 state and county jails and prisons. And what we're doing is we're bringing the word to them. We're bringing them some laughter and some good times and some fire.
Amen.
And so for that, we need some partners. So if you want to partner with us, please click on the link below.
And don't forget to follow us on social media, hashtag This Is Real, or on any other platforms, Pastor Juan Martinez.
Hey, that's a wrap. Peace.